Welcome back to my Sub-20 5K challenge. I will think of a catchier name, give me time. So I did the test session yesterday, 3 1-minute intervals, and they went actually all right. So body felt okay, could run at that pace. That was the biggest obstacle. Can I actually do it? Can do it. And it felt okay. I felt like I could have run faster. Obviously, there was no point. I would have been sprinting at that point, and then, I'd have only lasted 10 seconds, 15 seconds or something like that. So there was no need. Anyway, 3 1 minutes. The plan is, or my initial plan is to increase that up to 1 kilometre intervals. One of the guys from the club said yesterday, well done, 3 lots of 1 kilometre is really good. It's like, no, that's 3 1 minutes, not kilometres. So the plan is to try and increase it up. So it'd be like 4 minutes, so 1 kilometre in 4 minutes. That would be first benchmark goal to sort of work towards. So what I've done is I filmed myself running from the side and behind yesterday. I didn't manage to do both sides because I've got a squat rack in the way. I'll try and find a way around that for next time, but we'll manage. Also, when I did the filming, so if you're going to film yourself and do this, what I'm going to show you we're going to do today, film yourself at the highest frame rate going. 60, 120 would be great, but it does the bigger file sizes. If you can get the frame rate on your camera at 60, that means that when it gets slowed down, there's a lot more frames in there, so a lot more stills, so you'll get a lot more information. And my lighting wasn't the best, so it's a bit difficult to tell which leg is which because I was in black leggings. Not the best idea. So what the plan is now, we're going to upload those stills to ChatGPT and get my form analysed. I've already spotted a couple of things I want to work on myself, and I'm also just going to quickly discuss that plan of doing that sort of speed session. I've got in my mind what I want to do, but I'm going to show you what I do. So if you're planning on doing this yourself and using ChatGPT to help yourself along, this is what I'm doing for me. You can probably do something similar and change a few things for you. So if we switch screen, boom, nailed it. Right, so what I've got here is, these are the stills of me running from the side and from the back. Then we've also got, it's just basically the screen showing my heart rate stuff from the data from Training Peaks. To be honest, there's nothing really interesting there. It just shows the pace and heart rate, so it's just extra data. Take a screenshot, it's done. So I'm telling Coach Miles, so I did the test session, 3 lots of 1 minute at 15 kilometers per hour, and it was okay. Heart rate reached 1671 on the third interval. I think it was 165 and 166 on the others. But I did hold it for slightly longer. I'll just update that. It was 165-ish on the previous 2. Can you analyse my run form from the photos? I'd like to extend the interval session up to 1 kilometre intervals, but slowly. I don't want to just launch into that. So my initial plan, I'm doing a spoiler, you could just ask ChatGPT, give me a plan over 8 weeks or whatever to sort of do that. But the plan would be to do 1 minute intervals next week. And I'd actually stick with that the week after. This is a sort of big ramp up in terms of pace. So the last thing I want to do is start, I'm going to focus on this pace, but also I'm going to increase the duration too much, because that's increasing too many aspects too quickly is how you get injured. So do 1 minute intervals next week and the week after, then increase to 90 seconds or possibly even 2 minutes. So it really depends on how I'd feel at that point, really. If I wanted to take it easy and plan for being easy, I'd increase it to 90 seconds or 2 minutes. Might even just do 1 minute intervals for 3 or 4 weeks, depending. So I don't want to build too fast in case of injury. Would 10 intervals be a good start? So that is kind of my initial plan, is next week, 10 intervals, 10 1-minute intervals. Worst case scenario I get to, I've said I'll be suffering by 6 or 8, I reckon. Worst case scenario I get to 6 or 8 and I bail and do the cool down and decide, right, I'm going to increase it to 8 the next week. But I've also said I also don't want to take it too easy. And then I'll finish off. What are your recommendations? Let's see what comes up. Now, video analysis is on ChatGPT now. So Coach Miles, I did test it before I uploaded a video. You can't do it on the app. You've got to do it on the actual computer. So I uploaded a video and asked it to analyse, and it was pretty good. It was very thorough, but it wasn't accurate. So it got some key things wrong. The key thing I was looking at, it didn't pick up on, and then when I mentioned it, it said, "Oh yeah, I do see that." So I wouldn't recommend uploading a video. I'd upload the stills for now. The video analysis will improve. So, in 12 months' time, so 2026, 2027, you're probably going to say, why is she uploading if you're watching it then? Why is she uploading the stills? Just upload the video. Yeah, upload the video, but just don't rely on it today. Or upload the video with some stills, but then you should make it more work for yourself anyway. So, okay. Brilliant work, Jen. So supportive. You can't get a more supportive coach than Coach Miles. Strong result on the test. Handled it with control, minimal heart rate drift, especially given where my aerobic base is at, and I look solid at pace. So yes, thank you. A couple of you commented that I look like I'm running very well at that pace. Your caution around ramping up in duration is wise, especially because I've got the championships next year. So we've got form feedback. Efficient, compact, and responsive. So positives: compact gait cycle, good cadence and foot speed, no sign of overstriding. Now, that's interesting because I am overstriding. It's not much, but I am overstriding. So I will call Miles up on that in a minute. Midfoot landing, I agree with that. Yes, I am midfoot landing. It's not heel striking, but it is out in front. So I'm just overreaching with that stride. Minimal vertical bounce, pelvis stability. Now, no exaggerated drop. There is a slight drop. It's not massive, but there is a little bit of that. So I'll get into that in a minute. Rear leg extensions, that's good. Arm drive, functional and in sync. And there's not crossing, so I agree with that. Watch outs, rear foot crossover, slight inward sweep of the trail leg during swing phase. Visible rear on. Oh, I might have to have a little look at that because I hadn't looked at that. I noticed that. Hard to judge for symmetry, without the video. But yeah, the toe off. So the toe off is slightly more dramatic, but I think that's to do with, I think my hips are dropping slightly. I think one of my feet is landing in front of the other a little bit too much. One side's overstriding a bit more. It's nothing dangerous. So none of this is that bad. But if I'm going to continue to do this and ramp it up, what I need to do is I run at that pace. It's becoming efficient at that pace. I'm in completely the wrong zone. I need to teach my body to handle that pace efficiently. So I'm overstriding. Improving my cadence will mean I won't be overstriding. To be honest, just sticking with those intervals is probably going to teach me to not overstride. The overstriding is more likely my body going, what the hell? And I'm just pushing and changing how I'd run normally for that sort of speed. So it'll probably sort itself out in time on its own. But if I can work on that little bit of hip drop and that little bit of overstriding with improved cadence, then and some strength work, which I'll get to in a minute. So plan for the next week. RPE was moderate to high. Heart rate peaked 172, manageable but not excessive. Session, so recommending 8 by 1 minutes, 90-second recovery. I don't know whether I'd do 2 minutes recovery. I was quite well recovered after 2 minutes. So I'd maybe do a 2-minute recovery with 8 minutes. And then the following week, reduce it down to 90 seconds, depending how I get on. Build exposure to pace, not cumulative stress. Reset focus every 2 reps. Quick check in on one. Something that's the other thing. I could always do 90-second intervals, but every 2 or maybe every 2 reps I increase it to 2 minutes, or I can split it into 2 blocks of 4 and have just a little bit longer of a break so my heart rate can settle down properly for the second block. That is another option. So then it's saying to ramp it up to 90 seconds and then to 2 minutes. So that would be the general plan. I know I said I was going to do more of a long-term plan, but I think when we can get up to 1 kilometre, then that sort of opens a lot more interesting ways of piecing those kilometres together. So 10 by 1 minute is a great cap, but Miles is saying start with 6, see how you feel at reps. Start with 8, see how you feel at rep 6. And you can always add a 9th or 10th. But overreaching too soon carries more downside than benefit. And and like it says, it's not about proving anything, and I don't want to rush it. So I thought I was overstriding, question mark, and my hips were dropping slightly. Let's see what Coach Miles says on this one. Okay, are you overstriding from the rear and side views? It's not classic overstriding, but you're landing way out in front of your centre of mass with a straight leg. You're not landing way out in front of it, but on a few frames, you can see early heel visibility before contact, and the knee is fairly extended at ground contact, which suggests a side slip tendency. Anyway, so use a cue like quick feet under the hips. I just got to work on the cadence, and then hip drop, slight but controlled. So yeah, it's not a Trendelenburg style collapse, which is when your hips basically going up and down. You can often see it on race stills when somebody's on one foot. So if you're looking at your race photos and you're stood on one foot and it doesn't look very elegant, one foot, knee bent, and your hips are kind of dropped to the side that is raised, that is kind of the Trendelenburg collapse. So the right side stance shows a little bit more dip on the left than vice versa. So doesn't scream injury risk, but if I ramp too quickly, it could very well be a weak link. So it's saying lateral hip stability works, side planks with leg lifts. I actually quite like side plank marches. So I will probably add side plank marches, and also look at my glute med and try and do a bit of strengthening on my glute med. So yeah, so hopefully that has helped. Was there anything else we wanted to cover? So week one plan was, I was thinking speed work, a speed session. I can't add too much in because I do have my bike and my swimming to do as well. I was thinking a speed session. So the intervals on the treadmill to force the speed. You know, I should be able to do the speed outside, but when you look at speed outside, so if you ever look at your data on speed, it's always, there's like, it's never a solid thing. At least on a treadmill, it's solid. And if you've been on the treadmill, you have done that speed. You can argue about calibration of the treadmill. So my treadmill might be slightly out, so I might have been running ever so slightly slower. I might have also been running ever so slightly quicker. But that is quite a new treadmill. It shouldn't be that inaccurate. So yeah, and you know, you have wind, you have cars, you have different things. Like when I say cars, I run a lot on road, but they're single sort of roads around the valleys and stuff. So, you know, if your car comes, you've got to stop or you die. And then, so week one speed session. Speed session every week. Session on the treadmill every week. At speed or possibly faster. So it'd be good to get a few shorter intervals, mix it up and do a few like 30-second intervals at a faster pace. So my body gets used to that actually being kind of like an easy pace over time. Then a second midweek session. I only want to do 3 runs a week. I think with everything else I do, I think adding a 4th run in would be classic for getting injured. So second midweek session, alternating between threshold 1 week and hills next week. Then a 3rd another long run at the weekend, which will alternate from easy to hilly. Not doing hills twice in 1 week, not doing hills twice in 1 week. So basically that will mean week 1 will be a speed session, a threshold session, and then hills for the long run. But then the following week, it would be a speed session, a hilly session, and then a flat long run. So it's sort of alternate. Thoughts? Anything missing? The only thing I'm missing is VO2, but then I think I'm just destroying myself on the speed thing. So say the only thing. There's, it's quite a bit missing. Strides for one, but okay. Speed session weekly, forces form at pace. Keep that in. Alternating thresholds with hills helps lactate tolerance and aerobic economy, and then gives me strength, endurance, and run specific. But that will also help me with the rock training as well, but that will have to ramp up in the new year. Weekend, easy versus hilly. Yep. Anything missing, drills and strides? Nailed it, called it. Yeah, okay. Well, I do a weekly session for other people for drills and strides, so I could always add a little bit of drills and strides in there. Mobility and strength, I was going to do that anyway, I just hadn't really said. Glute med, single leg balance. I'd like to add some plyometrics in, but not the first month. I think give myself a month to start adapting to this. If I've got any niggles or injuries sort of coming up, the last thing you want to be doing is adding more load by let's go jumping on boxes. And float week every 4th week. So recovery aware, so shorter intervals, no hills that week, easy long run. Yeah. So normally you want to recover every 4 weeks. I normally find my body's normally ready about week 4 for recovery, but I don't tend to plan one in. I just think week 4 is going to be a recovery, and then weigh up how I'm feeling and alter it based on that. So yeah, speed intervals on a Tuesday, easy spinner active recovery Wednesday, threshold intervals. Thursdays gave me the pace. I'll probably be doing heart rate when I'm going outside. I'll be doing heart rate, basing everything on heart rate. When I'm doing it on the treadmill, I'll be basing it on pace. And then mobility light. Friday it doesn't allow for my bike training, but yeah, and then the long run, about 60 minutes, easy next week. So that is week 1's training. So this is my next week's training. So what I will do is I will record these, and I might do it as one big episode a week, or I might split it up. So I might film the speed intervals as a separate thing, and then do it as a full recap at the end of the week. I'm not sure, but anyway, let me know what you think. Hopefully that's been a bit of help. I will plan, we've got an overall, I'll generally plan each week, because until I've actually achieved this and done 8, I might do 8 and be like, yeah, that was super easy. Without it. But I might do the 8 and go, that was super easy. This, and it's going to end up, we're going to have to trash the whole 4-week plan, because that was actually a lot easier than planned. Or the threshold intervals might be way too much, who knows. But that is next week's plan. I will add my swim and bike into it. I will put those into Training Peaks in a moment. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I know a few of you are going to be sort of loosely copying this yourself. I would highly recommend setting up your own coach miles on ChatGPT and doing it in a similar sort of way. Film yourself. Don't upload the footage. Just take stills. Try and don't wear black leggings. Try and show your legs so it can work out which leg is doing what. And it's as easy as that. So hopefully that's helped. Let me go back onto where am I? That one. Oh no, that one. There we go. So I'm here again. So hopefully that has helped, and I'm giving you something to enjoy over the week. So I will see you on the next one. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy your training. Crack on.